The ancient Sumerian civilization dates back over 4,000 years ago, pioneering writing, law, and monumental architecture. But there are mysteries about their remarkable culture that continue to perplex even the brightest minds in archaeology and history. No one can really answer the question of their precise origin. Their sudden emergence followed by sudden disappearance raises so many questions. The complex language, cuneiform script, technological advancements, Sumerian seals, and the king's list. There are many mysteries this civilization has left behind. Join us as we explore 10 of the biggest mysteries about the ancient Sumerians that baffle experts to this day. Number 10. Great Ziggurat of Ur. The Great Ziggurat of Ur rises in the heart of ancient Mesopotamia within the vibrant city of Ur. This huge step pyramid, which stood majestically in the southern expanse of what is now Iraq, was a marvel of its time. This architectural marvel stretched its dimensions with accuracy during the 3rd millennium BC, a stunning 64 meters in length, 46 meters in width, and a height that remains a mystery due to the passage of time. The mud brick core was encased in an outer layer of burnt brick, ensuring the sacred structure's resistance to the elements. Historical facts do tell us that the construction of the Great Ziggurat was begun by King Ur-Nammu, a king from Ur's 3rd dynasty, and was eventually completed under the watchful eye of his son, King Shulgi. The ziggurat contained Ur's heartbeat as it stood within the temple complex, the city's administrative heart. It is believed that the ziggurat was an earthly adoration to a celestial deity dedicated to the moon god Nana. Because of Nana's link to the eastern mountains, the ziggurat came to represent the celestial home. Nana preferred to live here, where a modest shrine atop the pyramid awaited him. The peak included a room in which a chosen girl served as the god's companion. A kitchen on the northwest stairs linked to the divine food requirements, while the outside enclosure catered to mortal servants with storehouses, priestly residences, and a ceremonial palace. This old treasure had faded into obscurity, only to resurface in the 19th century, thanks to the efforts of European explorers. The unearthing of Ur's artifacts renewed curiosity, and the beauty of the Great Ziggurat was shown once more. Despite much research, the ziggurat's exact purpose and importance remain a mystery. Scholars have proposed many explanations concerning the purpose of the ziggurat, sparking a debate. According to others, it was a temple or shrine where high priests performed religious ceremonies and presented offerings to the gods. Others speculate that it served an astronomical purpose, pointing out how its terraces and stairways coincided with celestial occurrences such as solstices and equinoxes. The ziggurat's allegiance to the moon god makes these theories seem like the truth, implying a relationship with celestial bodies. A second viewpoint sees the ziggurat as a symbol of the cosmic mountain, a common motif in ancient Near Eastern mythology. According to this perspective, the ziggurat represented the link between heaven and earth, serving as a conduit for divine involvement with humanity. The presence of a temple atop the ziggurat, which may be dedicated to the divinity Nana, supports this theory. Despite these possibilities, the ziggurat's true purpose is unknown. The structure has been damaged and altered throughout time, with only the lower layers remaining today. Archaeologists will have to work hard to recreate its original appearance. As a result, the intriguing Ziggurat of Ur continues to attract historians and researchers, providing a look into ancient Sumerian religious beliefs and practices. Number 9. The King's List. The Sumerian King List is a remarkable artifact that sheds light on the origins of royalty in the region. It appears to be a register that records each Sumerian king's reign as well as the time he governed. These records contain information about nearby dynasties, including names, presumed periods of power, and the heartlands of official kingship. This object also references a number of pre-dynastic monarchs. However, there are other aspects of this list that have historians perplexed. The initial piece of this historical puzzle, a 4,000-year-old cuneiform tablet, was discovered in ancient Nippur by the astute Hermann Hilprecht. Since this initial discovery, 18 further copies of the King List have been discovered, the majority of which date from the later half of the Aeson dynasty. The Weld Blundell Prism, the collection's crown treasure, towers over the Ashmolean Museum in Oxford. Its contents range from the antediluvian dynasties through the 14th monarch of the Aeson dynasty, as it was formerly thought to contain a center spindle for rotation. This prism is more than a relic. It's a portal into Sumer's history. Looking at some of its perplexing qualities, we can see that the Sumerian king list indicates extraordinarily extended reigns of the early kings. For tens of thousands of years, some have been mentioned as rulers. The king list begins with 8 antediluvian pre-flood monarchs and the post-deluge boom of city-states. The beginning of king list reads like a divine story, detailing the descent of kingship from heaven to Eridug. It offers us notions of a world where monarchs such as Alulim and Alaljar reigned for mythological periods of 28,800 and 36,000 years, respectively. Their stories are intertwined with those of the mythical Etana, Lugalbanda, and Gilgamesh, mysterious Sumerian and Babylonian figures. Many questions are raised by these early sovereigns' audaciously long reigns. Some dismiss these astronomical calculations as pure fiction, while others investigate the possibility of gods living among people. It could possibly be the Sumerian cyclical nature of time. A compromise suggests that the numbers convey relative relevance. Long reigns may accentuate perceived importance, just as those who survived to the age of 110 were lauded as societal pillars in ancient Egypt. It could be an issue created by the historians who mistranslated or misread the original figures. They could be reflecting shorter time periods or merely generations. Another element that raises questions is the inclusion of legendary and historical individuals on the list of kings. Historians have determined that some of the monarchs described in the list are true based on archaeological and textual evidence, while others are not. The list appears to include legendary or simply mythical monarchs as well. The blending of facts and fantasy casts doubt on the king's list's veracity. It makes us wonder if the list's aim was not only to keep track of the kings, it could be something more serious. Some believe the list was meant to legitimize specific dynasties' power by tracing their genealogy back to the ancient and holy kings. Perhaps the list was just made up by the kings to claim as a heavenly command and bolster their authority and power. This argument is thought to be partially correct because the king's list was constantly updated and rewritten over time, with the addition of new kings and dynasties to the list as Sumer's political landscape evolved. The Sumerian king list similarly parallels the biblical account of the Great Flood, with 8 rulers ruling prodigiously before the disaster. Shorter reigns arise after the flood, matching the longevity reduction seen in Genesis. This has also contributed to the perplexity that keeps academics interested in digging deeper into the list. The Sumerian king list is a mystery literature that sheds light on the Sumerian civilization's history and mythology. The mysteries surrounding the extended reigns of the first monarchs, the intertwining of historical and legendary characters, and the potential political motivations for the list's composition continue to captivate researchers and stimulate ongoing investigation. Number 8. Sumerian women and Queen Kubaba. Scholars and researchers have been drawn to the position of women in ancient Sumerian civilization. Although women's privileges and status varied according to social class and era, evidence suggests that Sumerian women were more significant and influential than men. The Sumerian legal system provided women with significantly more rights and freedoms than other ancient civilizations. They were able to possess property, engage in trade, and even pursue divorce under some circumstances, thanks to their secure rights. While they were still subject to the authority of their fathers or husbands, the legal protections they enjoyed showcased the value Sumerian society placed on women's rights and well-being. This stands as a fascinating focal point for researchers investigating the roots of gender equality. The religion of ancient Sumeria clearly identifies the importance of women. For example, Enheduanna, a high priestess and poet, flourished in the city of Ur approximately 2300 BCE. Enheduanna, the daughter of King Sargon of Akkad, is regarded as one of the world's oldest known authors. Her hymns and prayers to the goddess Inanna are still studied for their literary and historical significance. Her title as a high priestess demonstrates that women may have positions of authority and influence in Sumerian society. Due to a lack of first-hand data, the everyday lives and experiences of women, particularly those from lower social levels, remain mostly unknown. While evidence suggests that women had more rights and freedoms than other ancient civilizations, the shadowy parts of their lives and contributions persisted. Scholars rediscover new insights with each new discovery, guaranteeing that the compelling subject of women's position in Sumerian culture will survive as a captivating and mysterious part of this ancient civilization. Furthermore, the king list, a clay tablet, bears the names of Sumer's rulers along with their lengths of reigns. It reveals a unique figure, Kubaba, a powerful woman who defied the norms by ascending to the throne among a sea of male monarchs. While some remain confused, this list sheds light on Kubaba's rule, which is said to have begun approximately 2500 BC in the city-state of Kish. Queen Kubaba's name emerges clearly among the names of rulers. Hers was a story of hard work and strength, not of birthright. She assumed control, defying the pattern of male rulers dominating the field. This powerful woman's reign was distinguished by an extraordinary event. She became the kingdom's first woman to assume the throne. Queen Kubaba's exact path to power remains a mystery, since history's veil still hides many elements of her reign. However, the king list recognizes her for firming the foundations of Kish. Her legacy went beyond simple symbolism. Her reign marked the establishment of a dynasty that lasted a spectacular century. Number 7. Lost City of Arata. The fascinating story of the lost city of Arata has enchanted historians and archaeologists over the years. This mysterious metropolis is thought to have flourished as a great and affluent civilization in early human history. Despite decades of debate, the true identity and whereabouts of Arata remain a mystery waiting to be solved. The Arata is mentioned in ancient Sumerian manuscripts that date back to the 3rd millennium BC, including the Epic of Enmerkar and the Lugal-Banda tales. A captivating story emerges, depicting Arata as a remote, affluent city tied to the Sumerian capital of Uruk. Trade, diplomacy, and conflict created a complicated blend between these two cities, with Arata frequently depicted as a rival counterpart to Uruk's majesty. The nature of the city, as well as its precise location, remain unknown to us till now. But it is for sure that the city is immortalized in works such as the Epic of Enmerkar and the Lugal-Banda tales. The Iranian plateau can be a possible site for Arata, with linguistic and cultural parallels shared by Sumerians and ancient Elamites of modern-day Iran. The Caucasus, the Armenian highlands, and even the Indus Valley have been mentioned as potential places, but none have produced conclusive evidence to break the veil on Arata's mystery. As archaeologists and historians dig the secrets buried in sands and soil, they discover a plethora of old settlements and locations, each quite close, but bearing no clear claim to be the fabled Arata. Some researchers have speculated that Arata was really a myth, a fantasy spun by the Sumerians to show their own society in a mythological light. Sumerian scriptures depict Arata as a metropolis studded with rare metals, gemstones, and complex crafts, prized by civilizations far and wide. Arata's mystery compels explorers to dive deeper into history in search of the truth, despite its mysterious location, sparse archaeological proof, and rumors of tremendous wealth and invention. Will historians ever discover the lost city of Arata? Only time will tell. Number 6. The Epic of King Gilgamesh and Anunnaki. The Epic of Gilgamesh is a massive poem with roughly 3,000 verses. It tells the tale of a Sumerian king who embarks on a dangerous mission. His journey takes him to terrifying monsters and the puzzling mystery of eternal life. The hero is portrayed in these lyrics as a demigod, similar to Hercules with superhuman strength. However, what makes this epic mysterious is that the legendary character is not merely a concept. Scholars believe he was based on a real-life monarch who governed the ancient city of Uruk and went out on a quest for immortality. The Epic of Gilgamesh seems to be more than just a story. It's a treasure of historical knowledge. Experts believe that this hero could be the 5th ruler of Uruk, but no one can uncover this mystery till now. Gilgamesh's name appears on the Sumerian king list, and inscriptions commemorate his accomplishments, including the construction of Uruk's towering defensive walls and the restoration of a temple devoted to the goddess Ninhil. These discoveries imply that, beyond the veil of fiction, Gilgamesh was a real-life monarch. The Anunnaki are also well represented in the Epic of Gilgamesh. The story combines encounters between Gilgamesh and Anunnaki deities, such as Enkidu, Ishtar, and Utu, highlighting the divine character's intimate ties to the Sumerian people. The Anunnaki, a group of deities in Sumerian, Akkadian, Babylonian, and Assyrian mythology, has sparked many theories. The term Anunnaki derives from the Sumerian word Anunna, which means those of royal blood or princely offspring. These celestial beings are thought to be the progeny of Anu, the ultimate Sumerian pantheon god, and Ki, the earth goddess. In Sumerian mythology, the Anunnaki were credited with the creation of humanity as well as the building of civilization. Scholars have struggled to determine the precise nature of the Anunnaki and their function in Sumerian civilization. The Anunnaki are depicted in ancient Sumerian literature as celestial creatures who descended from the skies to mold human history. They were frequently depicted as intermediaries between gods and humanity, ensuring the cosmos's balance and the execution of the divine will. Several explanations have been proposed to explain the identity and purpose of the Anunnaki. Some ideas indicate that extraterrestrials affected Sumerian culture and technology. Others think that they were a group of semi-divine kings who guided the development of Sumerian civilization. Another way of view regards them as symbolic representations of natural and cosmic powers. Even after much research and debate, doubts regarding the Anunnaki remain. Now it's time for our subscribers' pick. Here's an image of a strange discovery in the ancient ruins of Sumeria. It looks like quite a well-preserved mummy of a human, but certain features make you look twice. Is this what humans looked like during that period, with evolutionary changes making us look as we do now? Or is this one of the demigods mentioned in the Sumerian texts? Some other weird finds include statues wearing protective lenses resembling sunglasses. Let us know your thoughts below. Number 5. Advanced knowledge. The ancient Sumerians, whose mathematical abilities were not only advanced but revolutionary. While we now utilize the decimal system, the Sumerians had a different numerical inspiration: 60. They employed a base 60 system, which is a sexagesimal structure centered on the versatile number 60. This numerical marvel was more than just a mathematical oddity. It had far-reaching consequences. The Sumerians left an imprint on the way we measure time. This meant that time was measured in 60-second increments rather than 100-second increments as it is now. The 60-second minute and 60-minute hour did not emerge from the digital age. Rather, they grew in the heart of ancient Mesopotamia. Even the Sumerians' descendants, the Babylonians, accepted this method, employing it to solve cosmic puzzles. Using this brilliant system, they explored the sky, determining the durations of months and years. Base 60 went beyond the confines of time and space. The Sumerians left behind a legacy that divided the circle, a symbol of togetherness, into 360 degrees. Their invention not only shaped time, but also shaped the basic geometry of our planet. It is also the Sumerians who left us the 12-inch measurement we still use today. It is still unknown how the Sumerians acquired such great knowledge. One of the earliest known written languages is the Sumerian, which arose around 4,500 years before the birth of Christ. It is distinct from other languages in that it has no known ties to other language groups. The inscriptions are entirely in Sumerian, and it's worth noting that Sumerian is the region's oldest written language, predating Indo-European and Semitic languages. Cuneiform, the method they used to write it, began with simple drawings and grew into a complicated system with over 700 signs. Although we've made efforts to comprehend the language, there are still numerous mysteries surrounding its origins and evolution. One of the most perplexing aspects is the lack of unambiguous ties between Sumerian and any other languages we know. Some academics believe it is related to Indian languages, such as the Dravidian languages. However, this is not proven. Sumerians also have a distinct style of putting sentences together that distinguishes them from other ancient languages. This adds to the difficulty of comprehending it. Another question is how the cuneiform script came to be. Even the earliest tablets, dating back to roughly 3,200 years before the birth of Christ, demonstrate an astounding level of expertise. It's difficult to explain how the script evolved from basic drawings to the wedge-shaped markings that formed cuneiform writing so swiftly. The Sumerian language and literature have been around for over 3,000 years. Even after the Sumerians vanished, other cultures, such as the Akkadians, Babylonians, and Assyrians, continued to utilize the writing system. It's amazing how this ancient manner of speaking and writing has survived for so long. The language and script are similar to a large puzzle. They are unique and they change swiftly. But the puzzle becomes more difficult because they do not appear to connect with other languages and do not vanish even after a long time. This conundrum keeps scholars thinking and searching for solutions. The Sumerians demonstrated a significant knowledge of irrigation and farming practices too, which allowed them to prosper in the domain of agriculture. Their expertise in building intricate networks of canals and dikes to manage water movement allowed them to create a fertile terrain between the Tigris and the Euphrates. They cultivated it to grow a varied range of crops and feed a big population. This showcased their high degree of technological and organizational skill, leaving historians confused about their knowledge and abilities, which were far too ahead for their time. Number 4. Fondness with beer. The Sumerians were famed for pioneering inventions such as writing, the plow, and legal systems. Despite their achievements, they had a deep love for beer. The Sumerians enjoyed beer, as proven by the clay seals. These 2,600 to 2,350 years B cold seals feature images of beer drinking in colorful banquet settings. This was more than simply a beverage. It was a part of their culture. Further research reveals that the Sumerians were the first brewers, perfecting the art of beer making in the 4th millennium BC. How they did it is still unknown, but what they created was unique. They created a barley-based mixture that was so thick and hearty that it required a special filtering straw to drink. But it wasn't only the flavor. The Sumerians valued beer for its nourishing properties, viewing it as the path to a joyful heart and a contented liver. Beer was so valued that it inspired the worship of a goddess, Ninkasi, who represented the craft of brewing. A well-known song praised her for nurturing a seed planted in the ground. It does surprise many thinking about the brewing capability of Sumerians. However, it is an important part of the Sumerian legacy as they are known as the early brewers. A millennia-old tradition arose from their hands. Number 3. Extensive trading network. Sumerians were incredible traders. Despite its limited supplies of timber, stones, and minerals, ancient Mesopotamia gave birth to one of humanity's first commercial networks, spanning both land and water. Dilmun, now known as Bahrain, was one of their most important trading partners. This island was famous for its copper, a valuable commodity. Dilmun's services, however, went beyond copper. It also contained gold and diamonds from the far-off lands of Oman and the Indus Valley. The Sumerians were fascinated by the attraction of lapis lazuli, a beautiful blue gemstone used for ornamentation and art. Evidence suggests that merchants traveled as far as Afghanistan in order to secure these valuable stones. To deal with their homeland's shortage of wood, stone, and minerals, the Sumerians established a massive commerce network that included both land and marine channels. While Dilmun dominated due to its copper monopoly, Sumerian merchants ventured on extended journeys to Anatolia and Lebanon in search of valuable cedar wood. The appeal of gold and gemstones drove them to exotic locations such as Oman and the Indus Valley, as the Sumerians were strongly moved by the vivid blue enchantment of lapis lazuli. They traveled huge distances, possibly even to Afghanistan, to obtain these magnificent diamonds. Furthermore, signs in Sumerian texts suggest ancient trading lands known as Magan and Meluha. These could correspond to Egypt and Ethiopia, demonstrating their extensive trading relations. It's amazing to think about how capable the ancient Sumerians were as traders. However, there are numerous gaps in the mystery of Sumerian trading. It is up to historians to dig for further details in order to address the unsolved issues about Sumerian trading. Number 2. Ancient Sumerian seals. Ancient Sumerian seals, often known as cylinder seals, are small cylindrical items made of stone, glass, or ceramic. These seals, carved with elaborate designs and inscriptions, date back to the dawn of Sumerian civilization. They served practical applications such as document confirmation, container security, and ownership marking. Despite their practical responsibilities, these seals have revealed mysteries that have baffled experts, leaving them wondering about their origins, meanings, and functions. The detailed images on these seals are among the most appealing characteristics of them. Their surfaces are covered with scenes from mythology, religion, and everyday life. Sumerian seals were usually centered on three major themes: contests, banquets, and religion. On these artifacts, exquisite carvings of deities, humans, animals, vegetation, and religious symbols can be found. Geometric motifs and ancient inscriptions provided a degree of complexity. Deciphering these symbols has proven to be a difficult undertaking. As a result, the true intentions and meanings underlying the exhibited iconography are mostly unknown. Craftsmanship adds another interesting aspect. The seals are extremely detailed and precise, thanks to the use of advanced processes and tools. What's more surprising is their age, with some dating back to 3,500 BC. Sumerian artists' methods and tools appear to be very advanced for their time, highlighting their skill. Another mystery about Sumerian seals is their widespread distribution. Scholars disagree on their origins. Some think they arose in Syria between the 8th and 7th millennia BC, while others suggest Sumer around the 4th millennium BC. These seals, discovered throughout Mesopotamia, Anatolia, and the Levant, reveal a network of trade and exchange across many cultures and civilizations. The wide-ranging dispersal raises questions regarding Sumerian interactions and linkages with neighboring communities, as well as the role of these seals in developing these links. Moreover, the Sumerian seals raise questions regarding the civilization's social and economic characteristics. From high-ranking officials and priests to merchants and artisans, these seals were possessed and used by people from all walks of life. This widespread ownership means that seals played important roles in Sumerian daily life. Unanswered questions will be resolved as more of these artifacts are discovered. Number 1. Disappearance of the Sumerian civilization. For centuries, historians and archaeologists have been puzzled by the mystery surrounding the Sumerian civilization's disappearance. No one really knows how such a great civilization came to an end. But there are many theories that suggest the possible end of the Sumerian civilization. The Sumerians, as one of the earliest advanced civilizations, accomplished amazing feats in agriculture, construction, writing, and mathematics. However, around the end of the 3rd millennium BCE, the Sumerian civilization began to disintegrate, vanishing from history. Some suggest that the rise of competing forces in the region throughout the late 3rd and early 2nd millennia BCE were a crucial cause of their demise. Under the leadership of Sargon of Akkad, the Akkadian Empire expanded its dominance and conquered Sumerian city-states. They were able to eventually establish history's first recognized empire. Considering this, historians suggest that there would have been a shift in power. The once glorious Sumerian political influence and autonomy would have been reduced. The other regional powers, such as the 3rd dynasty of Ur and the Old Babylonian Empire, would have eroded their dominance even further. Another important factor in their extinction was the steady deterioration of the cuneiform writing system. As Sumerian city-states lost political strength, so did the usage of their original language and script. Akkadian took the place of Sumerian, which evolved into Assyrian and Babylonian dialects. This linguistic transition, together with the disappearing cuneiform, aided in the final deterioration of Sumerian culture and identity. The Sumerians were also afflicted by internal conflict and social turmoil. City-states found themselves entangled in several battles as they competed for resources and authority. These battles and disagreements increased political and economic instability, hastening the civilization's demise. The Sumerian civilization's demise is a complex riddle that includes the development of rival powers, the withering of the cuneiform system, environmental degradation, and internal conflicts. Although many details remain unknown, historians continue to dive into the tragedy of the disappearance of the Sumerian civilization to figure out what actually happened. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, ensure to like, share, and subscribe for more.